Hi Internet, my name is Tori and I'm a magician, and today I want to tell you all the story of my journey to the Penn and Teller Fool Us stage. So if you're not familiar, Penn and Teller Fool Us is a show on the CW network, and they showcase different magicians performing for the iconic magic duo Penn and Teller, and the object is to fool them. So I was on season 8, episode 9, which aired in January 2022. And if you have not already, please take a moment to watch my clip of the show. I'll put a link to it right here, right? Yeah, you can just go watch it right here on YouTube. Yeah. All right, now that you've definitely seen it, first of all, I want to say thank you for your support. I've received all kinds of great comments and questions, but the most common question I've received is, how did you get on the show? So I want to make a video about how I went from this, writing my little audition email, to this. So this started back in November 2020. The Fool Us people periodically put the call out on social media for magicians to submit their material to possibly be on the show. And I'd heard that since the pandemic started, that they had been showing some of the acts through Zoom. So I just happened to have a video from one of my Zoom shows, and I clipped one of the tricks out of that and just sent it in on a whim. I introduced myself, I described my day job as a mathematician, and included the link to the trick, and forgot all about it. So a few months later, in January 2021, I received an email back from the producers telling me that they were interested, but that because I'm in the US, I would be performing live in Vegas, and asked if I had a trick that would be well suited to a live audience. I explained in my original email that it was a Zoom trick that I had sent them. So I wrote back and told them, well, this trick could work for a live audience, or maybe I could come up with something new, and I described a few ideas, and they told me to just record a video of one of them. So the idea I decided to start working on was centered around this concept of a simultaneous visual reveal of all the same card. I thought this was a really powerful image. And I had to think of a way for this to play well on a large stage. So I knew at this point that there was not going to be any studio audience, so it couldn't be anything like the audience members all having a chosen card or something like this. It had to happen on stage, and it had to play big, because the stage in the Penn and Teller Theater is pretty big. So I got as far as thinking of some kind of like clear board that could be turned around, but beyond that I had no idea how I was going to accomplish this. So I reached out to a few of my magician friends. That's one of the great things about being a magician, is there are a lot of other very clever magicians to talk to. I sent a message to my friend Nathan Caldwell, who is a great Chicago magician, and I sent a message to my friend Brent Braun, who is a great Indiana magician. And talking with both of them, came up with a few different ideas about how to accomplish this, and Brent wound up cracking it. He had a great idea for the mechanism, which I'm not going to spoil, don't worry. But he made a really clever suggestion, which is how we wound up doing it. And so I put together the plot that I wanted and made a small board with only 18 cards on it and recorded this for the producers. So the original plot of the trick, it was, I won't say it was totally different, but it was a little bit different. The idea was that first Teller would select a card, and then I would find it on the board, and then Penn would select a card, and he would have to find it on the board, and he would pick whichever, and it would be wrong, and then we'd flip the board over and show that he was spectacularly unlucky, and that actually they were all trying to make it easy for him, or something like this. So I sent this video in to the producers, and they emailed me back a few days later and told me that Mike Close would like to meet with me to talk about the mechanism and to talk about the trick. And that meeting wound up really streamlining the plot. So he thought the mechanism was fine, and we talked about some of the details. And then he made the very clever suggestion to just narrow it down to the spectators choosing the positions on the board. So to have one key card that was selected, and then have 3 spectators, Penn, Teller, and Allison, try to find it. And that, of course, they would miss every time, and then reveal that all the other cards on the board were the selected card. So we talked a lot about kind of the pros and cons of doing it this way, and about kind of like streamlining the punchline and just some nuance in the storytelling or the build of the trick that I found incredibly helpful, super helpful for kind of creating the plot that I wanted. So the next step was to write a script. So I wrote up a script with this sort of new premise in mind and emailed it to the producers, Lincoln and Andrew. who sent it back with only a couple of minor revisions. And I was actually really grateful for this, that I got to perform what I wrote, which felt really great. But they added a few key punchlines that I'm extremely grateful for.
And the odds are that I fooled you.
And then I re-recorded it with my tiny prop, performing the script that they sent. And one day later, they emailed me and told me I had been cast. This was on April 23rd, 2021 when I got the email. So I started preparing. Of course, the rehearsal process is not the same maybe as a normal season. We had Zoom rehearsals with the producers. I had 2 Zoom rehearsals. And I also subjected my very patient friends to a few Zoom rehearsals. And then, of course, rehearsed it on my own about 5,000 times. But through that process, there weren't a lot of changes made. There were a few suggestions, some offers of like different colored tape for the board and some different little bits and pieces. But other than that, I felt like I had a lot of say over how I presented the trick, how I presented myself, which was just so cool as an artist that I had as much creative control as I did. So then in June, on June 20th, I finally got to go to Vegas and perform my trick. And it was a dream come true. I got to perform for Penn and Teller, my magic heroes, on a Vegas main stage being filmed for national television. That was amazing. And one of the best parts is, you know, through the process, you don't really talk about it. We're not allowed to post on social media about it until the episode has been announced. So you don't really know who you're gonna run into, but Vegas is a magic town. So I get to see lots of my friends, lots of magicians who I admire. So that was just like a really cool bonus. But the best part of this whole experience was just the creative process. I definitely wouldn't have pursued creating this trick if I didn't have the motivation of this appearance on Penn and Teller. So thank you, Penn and Teller, for creating this incredible opportunity for magicians, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And thank you so much for watching this video. I received a lot of other questions. If you still have questions about the Fool Us process or just anything about it, leave them in the comments and I'll make another sort of FAQ video. So have a great day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon.